Well, we're coming to the tail end of this bulletin tonight. Thank you so very much indeed for joining us. And of course, the big interview is coming up next with Karen Jenga and not Karen Jenga, but Regina Manyara-Gitau. And the question is, the Nairobi Securities Exchange plans to issue a gender bond as part of the boss's financial inclusivity strategy aimed at increasing participation of women in the capital markets, where Regina Manyara engages Nairobi Securities Exchange Chief Executive Officer Frank Mweti on measures being taken to gender inclusion and equality. This interview is wrapping up our conversation tonight. Thank you so very much indeed for joining us. My name is O'Brien Kimani. We'll see you on Thursday. Have a good night.
The symbolism of Ring the Bell for gender equality is not lost at a time when across the globe there's a call for financial inclusion and women to be seated at the decision-making table and moving away from dependency to independence. To take us through this conversation is none other than the Chief Executive Officer at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, Mr. Frank Mweti. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me again. And yes, you're right. Today we are ringing the bell for gender equality. This is an event that is happening around the world. Almost over 122 exchanges around the world are ringing the bell.
Why is it of import when it comes to financial inclusion?
I think three things. The first one is to bring attention and visibility to the need to include women in our markets, our financial markets, in our economic activities, in leadership positions, in decision making. And exchanges around the world play a very important role in our economies. And so as a beacon of private sector activity in any economy, we have a very good platform to bring attention to this topic. Number two, women actually are a very, very important cog to economic activity in any country. And so we can't say that we are an inclusive economy, an inclusive market, a relevant exchange, if in fact 50% of the population is actually not participating in our market or being given the opportunity or taking the opportunity to actually get involved in economic activity, more so around the capital markets.
So in the last 10 years, because this is the 10th that we are actually seeing this, at the Nairobi BOS, what has been the change? What impact has this had? Yeah.
The impact has actually been quite pronounced. The first thing, as I said, is to first bring visibility and attention to this theme, that we need to involve, include, and work collaboratively with women around the country. Number two, the change we've seen is that we've also seen an increase in participation in our market by women, whether it's us from an investment perspective or in fact attending some of our other investor education training and financial literacy type events that we hold to share information and bring clarity to activities and opportunities that are available in the market.
Can you quantify this increase in the women, activities since you started creating visibility through Ring the Bell for gender equality?
Maybe the way I would quantify it is to say, we started off with fairly small events. Today you've seen we have a huge event where our chief guest is CS Rebecca Miano, the Minister for Tourism and Wildlife. We've had senior representatives from UN Women. We've had senior representatives from International Finance Corporation, IFC. So the visibility is there. The attendance is way bigger. More importantly, we can see, as I said at the NSE, we can see the uptick by women in either the training programs that we run, the investor education programs that we run, as well as, of course, direct trading on our exchange. So the uptick is there. Now, is there work to do? Yes, there's still work to do. For example, we would want to have more women-owned businesses listed on the NSE. We would want to see more women-owned businesses raising capital from our exchange. We would want to see more women-focused products, financial products, being rolled out through our exchange or the larger capital market. So the work is not done.
So what is the import of having, a gender diverse investment portfolio?
First thing, let's start off with first acknowledging that studies have shown that businesses that incorporate women and embrace equality actually in the long run perform better. They are more profitable, they are more innovative, they are a better place to work. Okay, so if no other reason, if for any other reason, if there's no other reason to embrace this theme, that's a good one. The second thing is we are seeing more boards, for example, for our listed companies having more women in their boards. We are seeing more women rising up the management ladder. So we think that there's, of course, value in that. Now, from a gender balanced investment portfolio perspective, truth be told, we still have a lot of work to do to have more gender inclusive portfolios or portfolios that are more customized to the needs of, let's say, for example, the women category. However, I think we should start from where we are, which is this, that even with the existing products, women should be able to participate in them, to invest in them, to embrace those products, because by nature they are not products that are necessarily designed for one gender, But we recognize, for example, that there's need to do more specific products. A good example is that we will be working on issuing a gender bond at the Nairobi Securities Exchange together with our partners, and that gender bond will then, the proceeds of the gender bond would then be used to support women-owned businesses, women entrepreneurs, and women leaders. So that would be one of the more direct way to actually move from talking to actually action. And the appetite is there for this sort of instrument, and NSE is taking the lead to champion this as one of our tangible ways of contributing.
So what I'm hearing, new CEO, is that you are working to have the board support women-led enterprises, especially, startups in terms of capital. But then the question is, how many women-led businesses or even just entrepreneurs on an individual capacity are aware of these programs that are tailored towards, at least, helping them with capital?
So I guess one of the reasons we are having this conversation, or we are having the event today, is exactly that. I think you've nailed the point, that more attention and visibility needs to come to this theme, so that then we can now move, having created the attention, the awareness, the understanding, it's much easier now to collaborate and partner to bring solutions now to the market. So we are starting with awareness, okay? And the event around globally is actually meant to bring that awareness. To, first of all, to acknowledge that women have an equal role in participating in economic development among other roles. And number two, that we can move from just discussing to products, action, real outcomes, okay? So I think the first thing, the mere fact that we are having these conversations and your viewers will interact with this sort of conversation already brings that visibility. Now, the next step will be saying, now that we've raised awareness, how do we then now craft real solutions that we can now roll out? And so next time when you're interviewing me, hopefully we'll be discussing the products we've rolled out, the programs we've delivered, and more importantly, the results and impact that we've seen.
What about the training? You may be aware of what is available there, but are you capable of tapping into that particular product? Where does the NSE come with training to enable women actually trade on the bourse?
Good question. Now, you asked me earlier, what progress have we made since the first time we rang the bell?
Yes.
NSE created and launched a program called NSE Empower Her. Okay? NSE Empower Her. And that program is specifically designed to provide investor education, financial literacy, and awareness specifically to women on the opportunities that are available in our exchange and in the larger capital markets, but more importantly, how to actually harness those opportunities. Okay, the NSE Empower program has been very successful. We've supported, we've interacted with thousands and thousands of women, both professional women, women-owned businesses, non-professional women, etc. Now, that program, we want to scale it. Okay, we want to scale NSE Empower Her to be a bigger program, okay, that touches more and more lives in our country, and hopefully beyond that as well. Number two, we've recently designed what we are calling NSE SHE. Okay, again, this is a program specifically focused on supporting primarily girls, so that they can start getting financial literacy from an early age, so that by the time they come into the economic sector, they are better equipped and better skilled and more aware of the opportunities that are available in the market. So you will be seeing a lot more of that. But again, as I said, when we have this conversation down the road, we will be talking about outcomes.
Outcomes. I like that. So how do you think this is going to impact, on matters of governance and financial stability in the economy in general?
You might have heard C.S. Miano quote a point that businesses and organizations that include women in their governance structures, in their leadership, and in their management perform better. They are more stable, they are more profitable in the long run, they are more responsive to the larger community, they are more inclusive. So, for example, at the NSE, we interact with almost 60 listed companies that are listed on our exchange across 10 sectors, okay? Manufacturing, banking, insurance, transport, telecoms, etc. Now, part of what we do is work with these listed companies to improve corporate governance. For example, we have the ESG guidelines together with the CMA code that is part and parcel of us championing governance that is also inclusive and that is balanced. Okay, all this is part of the drive to actually, capacity build the ecosystem, so that then we can have better leadership, more inclusive governance, but more importantly, we see the fruits of that as even more successful organizations, Kenyan organizations, and ultimately African organizations. It is also good to note that these sort of initiatives help create role models that our daughters, our sisters, our other women colleagues and friends can see and emulate, so that it's much easier to relate, I guess, to a role model that's closer to you. So by nurturing these role models and also including them in all this discourse that we have, the other women can actually see the art of the possible, and we use that as a basis to then also uplift themselves and see that there is space. It is also good that us men also embrace this and create, and be ready to be inclusive, so that our mothers, our aunties, our sisters, our wives, our daughters are part and parcel of the economic activities that we are all doing. All of us have good ideas. It's about coming together now, sharing those ideas and doing better as a lot.
Now, CEO, from where you sit, in the public domain, trading in the Nairobi Stock Exchange looks very elitist, far away, far removed from Wanjiko and the likes. And if you look at a majority of women-led businesses at smallholder at that particular level, have you directed programs that are going to actually open up the NSE to Wanjiko, who is maybe running a shop down there in Kitale and wants to invest?
Yes, this is a very, very, very important point you raised. Very important point. And you're right, Wanjiko, Atieno are not necessarily included in our a lot of the initiatives that we've done in the past. But we have a new NSE that has a new strategy for 2025-2029. That new strategy, at the core of it, is revitalizing our markets by bringing back retail investors, whether domestic or diaspora. As far as the mass market, including the mass market is concerned, what we are doing is three things. Number one, we are designing and rolling out large-scale financial literacy and investor education programs, so that my mom in my village, your mom in where you come from, are also able to access this information. And we're doing that, we are designing that to be as inclusive as possible, including rolling out programs in local language, okay, in media, through media and channels that everyone can access to. Number one. Number two, we are working with our other capital market stakeholders to design products that are more accessible, so that you don't need to be financially technical. You don't need technical know-how to actually be able to understand these products and choose whether to invest in them or otherwise, okay? Number three, we are working with our listed companies to design issuer programs so that these companies that are already listed, think Safaricom, Equity, KCB, EABL, KenGen, KPLC, all these guys, so that we can now work with them to say, how do you integrate the larger market, so that we climb, as you say, off our elitist tower and actually go to the market. And the truth is, the market is actually out there. It's in the counties, it's in the shopping centers, it's in the town centers. So we are doing that. And you're right to raise this point. And the beauty of it is the new strategy that our board approved last year, that we've started implementing this year, actually talks to that. And we are keen, of course, to make a success of that.
Now, as we bring this to a close, Frank Mwiti, this particular push to have gender equality in the stock exchange, of what significance will it have when it comes to wages of women, or rather earnings to women, and also ownership of property and, either tangible or intangible for this particular demographic?
So it is right. It is correct to say that there is significant areas of improvement as far as financial inclusion is concerned. Women's ability to access capital, women's ability to get opportunities, and including also equal pay for equal work, and among other things. Now, these are not just complex challenges. They are challenges that go beyond matters financial. There is also social dynamics around it. You heard today the commissioner from the National Gender and Equality Commission mention a lot of the initiatives that that commission is driving to bring more attention to this. And I believe, at least from some of the conversations I've been party to, that there are efforts being made by our government to ensure that we have policies that actually enable these issues to be sorted out at a policy level. So that matters, for example, equal pay for equal work, opportunity, access to capital, access to investment opportunities, access to procurement, okay, that different entities, including government, make, that those are available equally to both women and men. I think maybe in conclusion, we should also be conscious not to push the needle all the way so that we then have a boy-child problem. Okay, I think it is important to have a good balance. But I think the journey has started. I think it started actually. It's still accelerating. And I believe that the strides are actually very positive and the trend is very encouraging. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Experts there, and with us has been none other than the Chief Executive Officer at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, Frank Mwiti. They're opining that having more women participate in this particular sector, that's the finance sector, is going to do us more good, especially when Kenya is gravitating and working towards financial inclusion for all. A little bit with caution that it has to be gender balance, both for men and women, and more awareness and sensitization of programs that are targeted at women. Well, that is it. I'm Regina Manyara. I hand you back for normal broadcast.